But first, researchers have discovered that over 1 million domain names are at risk of being taken over by cybercriminals. It's called a sitting duck attack, and it works like this. Let's say you come up with a new idea for a side project, so you register a domain name, and you want to use that domain to host a website with some hosting provider, DigitalOcean, for example. So you set your domain's name servers to point to DigitalOcean, you set up your website, and everything is going great. But then you realize your website idea kinda sucks, so you abandon it and eventually delete your DigitalOcean account out of sheer embarrassment. At this point, your domain's name servers are still pointing to DigitalOcean, but as far as they're concerned, your domain has nothing to do with them anymore because it's simply not associated with a DigitalOcean account. So a cybercriminal can now just come along and add your domain to their DigitalOcean account, and because the name servers are pointing in the right direction, the bad guys now have total control over it and can use it to perpetuate their evil schemes. This is essentially how a sitting duck attack works, and I used DigitalOcean as an example here because, according to researchers, they're one of the dozen or so hosting providers who are vulnerable. And to be clear, for this to work, it doesn't matter who the registrar is, rather it depends on whether your hoster, the guys you're pointing your domain to, allows people to add domains to their account without having to first verify that they own it. And to make matters worse, this problem has been known about for years, but it's gotten very little public attention. It was first identified in a blog post back in 2016, and a couple years later, there was a case of cybercriminals using this method to hijack a bunch of domains for use in sextortion phishing scams and even sending fake bomb threats. In that case, it was domains belonging to well-known companies that were hijacked. These domains weren't being actively used by those companies, rather they were probably just registered so nobody else could use them, just for, brand protection. So you can imagine these kinds of domains are very easily forgotten about, especially when the company who owns them maybe switches up their DNS providers without updating the registrar's records, leaving the domains open to being hijacked. But since this campaign in 2019, sitting duck attacks have gotten very little media attention. There are other domain takeover attacks that have gotten more airtime, but not the sitting ducks. Meanwhile, researchers at Eclipsium and Infoblox, who are behind this new research, have confirmed that more than 30,000 domains have been hijacked since 2019, and they reckon over 1 million are today likely vulnerable.